Where is Africa in all of this? I know what has been said is that Africa, as a rising continent, is suffering the consequence of climate change, but they're not the creators of climate change, as you have said. So why are we in this? Like, why is it necessary for Africa to be in this whole agenda, this thing to change the method by which economies run, governments operate, and life exists or life happens? Like, why is there a need to change life itself?
Well, I mean, I think you're hitting kind of the nail on the head from a justice viewpoint for it. I mean, African countries, including the Vice President, His Excellency Osinbajo, Professor Osinbajo here, has been very clear. He says, Africa did not create climate change. I mean, it is a victim of it, despite the fact that it's a very small emitter. And the climate change is here. I mean, just look at Lagos, look at Lekki. Lekki will likely be underwater in 20 or 30 years, much of it. I mean, I owned a house in Lekki. I have to say that I was relieved when I sold it, because I didn't think it would hold its value. If something's underwater, it's going to have very low real estate value. But this is the crux of this climate justice or climate reparations. Africa did not cause climate change. I mean, Africa did not produce the climate emergency. Africa's had very little emissions relative to other countries. So all of these climate changes and the impact of them were caused by others. Now, I mean, there's a basic principle in law and every moral code and every religion is if you damage someone else's property or you take their life, you owe something. You may have committed a crime, but you certainly owe compensation. And that's where we find ourselves. So one of the issues that has come up at COP27 in Sharm El-Sheikh this week in Egypt is really on the agenda, which are these climate reparations. Now, if we go back to COP26 in Glasgow a year ago, it wasn't discussed that much, but now people are actually having serious conversations about it. And of course, the rich countries don't want to pay reparations, but I think they recognize this, the legal or moral justice in all of this. And John Kerry, of course, is the climate envoy for the United States and used to be, I think, vice president, at least senator. I mean, he's also, vice senator, head of the Senate. I mean, he's come out and said, this is a legitimate argument. So I think it's something that Africa needs to push a lot. And His Excellency, Vice President Osinbajo here has actually also come out and said climate reparations on that. I mean, it's just inherently immoral to have caused this damage to Africa, including Nigeria, including what I just discussed earlier about the flooding in Lagos, flooding around the country, the increasing southern movement of the Sahara Desert, desertification, loss of habitat, loss of trees. I mean, this is being caused by the climate change that Nigerians or Africans did not create. So they really have, by any standards of justice, a right to ask for climate reparations. And I would like to see this stay on the agenda, be put on the agenda, and people talking about it all the time.
Okay.